Action. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, and it is Stephen West. How is everyone doing today? We are now going to discuss this image, which this is the image that was on Nancy's own Nest camera. This is the original mask image in IR, which is called infrared. You can see this was a dark color mask. You can see the white eyes. You can see the transitions that I took this photo to get it to this stage. Now again, I repeat, this is for education and helping narrow down the suspect. It's not for positive identification. Like I said, I've got a lot of positive results in the last videos. There's been a few negatives, and unfortunately, there's always going to be people that said that you made the lips too big, you made the lips too small, you changed the eyes. Well, you can clearly see on this photo, I did not change the eyes. And I'm going to go through in detail again, explaining how I did it and the processes, because could somebody do this like normal? I don't think so. Can somebody at the FBI with imaging software and knows how to use AI tools to take this in little tiny steps and know what to do and what not to do to get a finished product? Again, my name's Stephen West. I'm a small little channel, Centerline News, but when it comes to audio, video, and imaging things, I'm good friends with California state expert audio video gentleman. I don't want to drop his name, but I'm telling you, I've worked with him for the last 15 years on several cases. Again, I'm not saying I'm as good as the expert, but I'm certainly better than someone that doesn't have an expert, as we would consider each other now friends, acquaintances. We talk, and he doesn't have time to go through this. He doesn't get paid for this. He's got family to take care of. I'm trying to build a channel. So I figured this would be a good opportunity to get out some valid information to help the police, to help the public find the perpetrator that kidnapped or did worse to Nancy. So in this video, trying to keep it under 10 minutes, and so that way in about 8 more minutes we're going to be through. But I'm going to go into detail on what I did and how I ended up getting to this particular photo. And like I said, I started with this image. And as everybody knows, there's plenty of images on Google now that show this is the side angle. And believe me, side angles are some of the worst ones to identify because it's called a profile. Profiles are really difficult because everybody's got a similar profile look. It's the front on, it's the eyes, it's certain characteristics that make you unique to other individuals. So what we're going to do is I'm going to tell you the steps that I took. You want to try to duplicate them. You think you can do better? If you don't think this is what the guy looks like, I respect that. You have a right to your opinion. But I recommend, instead of telling me it doesn't look like the guy, then why don't you do your own and show me what it does look like? Because, again, a lot of negativity floating around here, and all we're trying to do is find Nancy. She's an 85-year-old lady. If she is still alive, can you imagine all the horrific living conditions that she's had to be in? We'd like to find her. So to me, I'm just doing what I call public service, because I'm using my technique, because I know the FBI and a lot of people are out trying to find this guy. So what I did, again, I've got a few other photos that have the different hair color. It could be blonde, it could be brown, it could be curly. But ultimately, if the suspect shaved his head or close, you need to know how to identify him. And clearly you can see that what I didn't do is I didn't change the eyes. The only thing I did from this photo to here was I changed the eyes. And that was the only thing I changed. First step. Second step went to outlining this person's mask and making it a layer, and then flattening the layer and making it skin tone. So instead of it looking like a mask, now it looks like skin. Again, didn't change the layer, just changed the actual layer itself and color. Okay, again, didn't change the mouth, didn't change the eyes, to the whole thing. So again, this is just rough. I mean, you can tell it doesn't look like an elephant. You can tell the perpetrator is not a tiger, okay? And, you know, this, in theory, could also be a black gentleman, okay? But the odds are it's more on the lighter scale. Because, again, IR, which is called infrared imaging, works completely different than a normal camera does. So, like I said, I went to stage 1, which was to clean it up, to make it look realistic by taking the jawline, duplicating that, by taking the nose based on the eye, having it go out here. Now remember, this is full, so this face could be a little smaller, possibly, but remember, I'm trying to keep to this original photo image to as best as I can, because the more I modify it, the more people say it doesn't look like him, or they validate, which to me, I think I did another good job, because the eyes are identical. Nothing's been changed. It's just the same eyes, and we colored in, and we colored the skin. This was the phase 1, which I call it the cleanup. We didn't touch any of the mustache. You can tell part of a goatee, but the eyes never lie. The ear, you can tell just enough he had an ear to be able to recreate it, okay? Just enough to recreate the framing of his face. Remember, this isn't an exact profile, but it's like a 90 degree. So once I got to this phase, remember, this is the same photo as this, same eyes. The only thing we did now was try to, last few phases, was fix this goatee. I didn't want to touch this. I wanted to show that this was separate. There's not long, it's not like a big V goatee. This goatee is, what do you call it? It's defined. It's not like a full beard where it literally covers the whole bottom part of your lip. So we left it alone, and you've got kind of two different styles if he shaved his head. But the mustache, again, close. We don't really have an exact, but we can figure out based on where this is called a broom, okay, and some guy lingo, and it's part of the goatee. So you already know right above that's the lip, okay, right above that's the lip, above that's the lip. So this has to be part of the lip, okay. So all we did is we just continued out. We didn't mess with anything except for extenuating the mustache. And you know, most mustaches are straight, they're not curly. Could have been any different hair. I would more tend to think it's more on the darker side than the lighter. But again, now you'll see the phases. Now, could other people do this? Sure. But again, this took me hours to do. I had several attempts to be able to get just to change the layer, to get this all mapped up, to get the image where then I could take it to the next level to then add the mustache. Now, help of AI, yes, but unless you know what to give AI and you can do some of the work yourself, like I said, what I did is I took the eyes itself and did them. And then once I got the eyes, then it was the face to put them back together to make sure when it was recompiled, I had the same eyes. The only thing we did was colorize it. So all the pixel points never changed. The only thing we did is that we just added some pigment to this outside area, and I wanted to leave it. Now, I could have taken this away, but I needed you to see that we really don't, you know, it's kind of like a guy that went to the beach and went to sleep with his sunglasses. You're still going to be able to identify him. But I didn't want to change that to have any of that structure of the eye area change. So, again, this is all we have, folks, and until we get more video released that I can analyze or try to digitize or enhance, this is what we have. Now, remember, this is number 2 side shot. The next video that's going to come out is another facial shot from Nancy's camera, which is the Nest camera, and I can't do facial recognition on that because it's not as clear as the other one, but you can see a few people argued that the lip is too fat. Well, when you go and look at that photo cleaned up, you can clearly see The lip is as thick as in the original photo that I made. The only difference is that if somebody is biting down on their lip, you can make your lips disappear. So don't think that for a second that he was not biting down, applying pressures that going to squash his lips, that are going to make him look flatter, because you could tell he's not smiling. You can tell his lips are already shut. Just depends, is he squeezing them, because that's a little deceptive, because they're not, you didn't catch him with the open mouth. With the open mouth, you can clearly define how big the lips are. So again, this is not perfect. I'm not claiming it's perfect. I'm not claiming, the only thing I'm claiming is you can now see the eyes better. You got a general idea of the guy's, what it's called when you're trying to describe somebody. There's symmetrical features people have that separate them from other human beings, okay? And these are the kind of traits, symmetrical traits, that you're going to be able to see in this defendant, okay? Meaning, if you saw this person at this angle, you'd be able to see some similarity in this photo. Now remember, there's a lot of sketch artists. Have there's ever been one sketch artist that was drop dead on? No. When they found someone, they looked at it and said, yeah, it looks kind of like it, but it was getting just enough to break the case, just enough for some similarities. So I'm not trying to claim this is the person, but what I'm trying to claim is this person's eyes, his similar mustache, it's the same goatee. You can see it's his ear right there. You can see this is the size of his head. So again, it's up to you, folks. You know, perception is everything. You might say, Stephen, you're right on, or you might say that you're totally off. Even by here, you've screwed it up, and I respect that. You have a right to your opinion. Comment below. But again, I think this is as best as we're going to get with this particular photo. And again, I could put a bunch of different hair styles on this, thicker, thinner. But again, if you're just looking for the facial recognition part, I think you're pretty good. You've pretty much nailed it. You can see, even though when you have a mask, it leaves the perfect indents of the nose, of the cheekbone, of the internal, of the chin, okay, of the ear, the total size of the head. So once you see this transition, you'll see this person is not far off. I would say 90%. The person could be right on, could be right off. We don't know. But again, without trial and error, without someone willing to throw themselves out there, you know, how are you ever going to really know? So that's why I said, this is the next photos that are going to come in the next video, what we're going to talk about. But you can see how thick this person's lip is based on once we've cleared it up. Now, people saying this guy's lip isn't the same, well, then, you know, I'll let you be the one to decide. Now, you know, this is girl, these are more like girl eyes. So that's why I said people want to know the different eyes of a male eye or a female eye. I put them in there. You be the one to figure it out. But the lips don't change, right? So if you're looking for, see, there's types of eyes. This is considered a round eye. This is considered more oval. See how this one just slams down like a wave. It high rides, bang. High rides, bang. This one like slides a little bit, but it still has the same characteristic. A little different, meaning, you know, we could have got a bad little angle. That's why I left both these, so you can see there are different eyes, and I'm not going to tell you which one's a male eye, which one's a female eye, because they're very hard to tell, but I'll leave that up to you. But again, it was just to find and different eyes that match this, the color, everything, and then went in and modified and cleaned this up to make it. That's why this is the final photo, because this eye I like the best. Doesn't still mean, because you can see this inner here, this might be this part. That's why I said both these eyes are correct. They're just based on what we have. You can't make anything really better than what you started with. All you can do is take a couple calculated guess and see what you're working with. But you can see how thick this guy's lip is. You can see how thick his lip is. Now, somebody mentioned here about the no hair. Now, in one of my images, it is a more like a tape that has come up. Okay? This part could be, again, I don't really see a scar. This all could be a scar here, you know, from a punch, from something. Again, that would be something that I would really consider adding in to want to know why this person has this little divot. Here, let's go to the original photo so we don't freak anybody out, but he's clear he's got missing hair. Here isn't the identical. This is the identical change out. This one was just to try to match the height and everything, but you can see once you go back here, it looks the same. This is really, like I said, when you zoom in close, you can really see what you're working with if you know what you're looking for. So that's why, see, this hole is really thin. See how small this hole is compared to my other photos, because the other photo I wanted to make it wider so you can see the lips. If I use this identical, then it would have been only seeing, you know, like this much of their lip. So I had to make it bigger to get their whole lips in there. Well, you can see clearly the side of their bottom lip is money. Okay? It doesn't change. This is something that I would look hard for, because this doesn't want to change. See, I cleaned it up even better from what this is. You could tell this is the lip. This is the upper lip. Missing. So, anyway, if you like videos like this, again, next video I'm going to go into detail about why I believe about all what I just discussed. So, giving you a little preview. I'm going to cut this video short. Again, please like, subscribe, tell your friends and next door neighbors. I'm Centerline News. I'm a small guy. I like to take my GoPro and my handheld and go out and interview people. I have an RV completely set up. I just was too far away from Nancy. It's the tail end of the other side of Arizona. Cost me several $1,000s to get there. I would need a big sponsor. I need to, you know, unfortunately, I don't think I can go there myself unless I get a big sponsor. I get lucky. So all I can throw it out there, and I might get lucky. I could find another content creator that wants to go there and wants to pitch in. Great. Anybody that's interested can go to my email, which is located up at the upper top about more. You'll see, go through the CAPTCHA and you'll see my email, and you can email me if you'd like to talk on this show. You want to got any inputs, you want to actually be on the show with me, Zoom, or you just want to help me and donate through my PayPal, you can email me and I'll help set you up. Again, till next video, I'll see you guys. Thank you.